Well, I'm Elizabeth Cowlbeck, and I want to share my husband's story with you. He was born May 27, 1848 in Boston, England. Married on October 1882 in Westminster, London. He was George William Cowlbeck, but as you can see, he was buried as William Cowlbeck. Since he used his name most of his life, I called him William, so please don't get confused when I call him William instead of George. William left for the United States in 1883, and I arrived with our almost 4-month-old son, Sidney, on April 21, 1884. We traveled on the Persian Monarch from Soudan. You can't even imagine how difficult it was traveling with an infant. We were naturalized in Keysville on October 24, 1888. William was in the undergrad for a number of years in Keysville before we moved first to 41 Notre Dame Street in Glens Falls, where William worked for Crittenden and Cowles until the dissolution of, and then we moved to 30 Hunter Street while he worked for the Imperial Wallpaper Company as a bookkeeper until his death. Proud parents of our children, daughters Marion, born 1886, Isabel, born 1888, and sons Sidney, our oldest, born 1883, and Harry Donald, born 1801. At 16, Sidney rode his wheel to Keysville, leaving at 4 a.m. and arriving at 6 p.m. He 103 miles, suffering no ill effects except for being extremely tired. He thought his cousin Harry Elk's biking experience exciting, and so I guess he tried to emulate him. But that same year, Harry, in 1900, won the USA Race Championship after Harry Elks tragically died of a biking accident in 1903. William was asked to arrange for a monument 6 feet by 4 feet and 5 feet 10 inches high. It was to be made of very grand, and it was necessary to buy the adjoining plot to make room for such a big monument. And the family asked for subscriptions in small amounts to cover the cost. Happen. But admirers from Boston and New York made the granite monument a reality. And you can see this wonderful monument right here in the center. Named wheel, and it's right down the road, actually. Now, as a member of deacon of the First Baptist Church of Glens Falls, William was one of its most earnest and consistent workers in the Sunday school, and he devoted much of his time and thought to teaching a men's Sunday school class, and he was also on the advisory committee. He was unusually popular, being a member of the Glens Falls Lodge, the Free and Accepted Masons, where he was chaplain for 2 years and secretary of the Royal Arch Masons for 5. But of special note, William won several awards for photography in 1897 when he exhibited in the Glens Falls Camera Club exhibit with 350 trees. He won first prize for interior sitting room. That was Class B, photography for more than a year experience in Division 2, buildings, interiors or exteriors. Prize for Old Church in the Adirondacks. in Class C group that was open to everybody. He won second place for parlor scene and third place retreat. Seneca Ray Stoddard sat on the awards committee. I was so proud that William's photography achievements were by Seneca Ray Stoddard, who was a very well-known photographer. Oh, and let me show you some of his work. Just a couple of pieces. They're incredibly beautiful. Here you go. Can you hear? Here you go. Wasn't that wonderful? Now, on August 20, 1900, William left on the American liner St. Louis for a 10 weeks visit in Europe. He went to an exposition, but he spent the greatest part of his time at his old home in England. It was his first visit back home after being in the United States for 17 years. William died at age 63 at home, March 8, 1911, from pleural. He was ill only a few days after having a slight attack of grippe, but his condition grew worse and worse until the pneumonia set in. He and 4 children, without a husband and a father. He was also survived by his parents and his sisters and brothers in England, and I was so grateful that he had had the opportunity to see them a few years back. William was a man of extraordinary character and held in the highest esteem by all who knew him. He was straight, above board in all his dealings, and treated others as he himself would want to be treated. And he enjoyed the confidence of his fellow men. Please, when I talk about my beloved husband, it is never easy to lose one's husband. I died at age 94 and still grieved his loss. Over 30 years alone, especially after the children had left home. Thankfully, Sydney, nearby at 72 Sanford Street, and he watched over me. So thank you very much for letting me tell you William's story, and God bless us all.